What's up, guys? It's Ty with H24 Outdoors, and today I'm going to be telling you guys, I guess a little secret, but I'm going to be breaking down of my opinion on the best lake for beginners and especially beginner kayak fishermen. Um, if you know me, then you know what's coming. But Greer's Ferry Lake in Arkansas, in my opinion, is the best lake to start kayak fishing and start fishing in general, and it is a lake that you can really learn how to fish effectively, and I will explain why here in a second. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys. So Greer's Ferry Lake, if you're not familiar, is a lake that is located in the foothills of the Ozark Mountains, just north central Arkansas. And what it is, it's a reservoir that is dammed up on the south end, and it flows into the Little Red River. It was actually they flooded a town to make Greer's Ferry, which is the whole thing. Really cool history. You can actually like dive and see houses that are underwater. But Greer's Ferry is a lake that is just so diverse. You can do anything on Greer's Ferry Lake. You can go south and you can fish for smallmouth. We have got some fun smallmouth fishing. There's a bunch of them and a bunch of good quality size smallmouth. Um, but like I said, there's a chute in Greer's Ferry Lake. It's called the Narrows, and north of that is good big largemouth fishing. South of that is your clear deep smallmouth fishing. So it kind of splits into two. And the reason that's good for beginners is because they can kind of learn maybe their strong suit, and it can just help them just learn to be more diverse. But the real reason I said that Greer's Ferry is going to be good for kayak fishing is because um, there's 22 boat ramps. I think I counted out. I think there's 22 boat ramps, give or take some more harder to get to ones. But across the lake, it's 30,000 acre lake, so huge lake. Tons of diversity, but you can go all the way up. Devil's Fork is what they call it, right by the Devil's Fork launch. You go out to the right, and then you just cut straight, and there's a huge river with big largemouth. Towards Choctaw, kind of like the northwest part of the lake. There's another river that goes into Clinton and goes under Highway 65. Also, really good largemouth fishing around there. There's spots everywhere, so building confidence there is just endless amounts of fish. Especially if you go in April, you can throw anything anywhere and you will catch at least 10 fish. It's kind of ridiculous out there. But as far as beginners, just having that access, because in kayak fishing, you need boat ramps. You need to be able to move around because we don't have a motor on there, we don't have a we have a trolling motor, but we don't have a real motor to just run around anywhere at free will, and we got to be able to narrow that down. And what Greer's Ferry allows anglers to do is just to choose what they want to try to accomplish fishing, whether that be go south and catch deep smallmouth or go north and catch largemouth. Yeah, it just Greer's Ferry does all of the above. There is shallow, muddy water fishing on the north end, and like I said, deep, clear water fishing. So it's just a great place. It's a kind of a center hub to learn the basics of fishing. There's river channels that run through it, so you can learn all about all the different seasons of fishing. And me growing up, that was the lake that we fished all the time. I live about 40 minutes, give or take, from Greer's Ferry Lake, so I've always had that, and it's always been my go-to home lake. But yeah, Greer's Ferry Lake, located in central Arkansas, north central Arkansas, is, in my opinion, the best uh, lake for beginners in fishing in general or beginners into kayak fishing, like I said, because of the access. And Central Arkansas, also, if you're not familiar, Central Arkansas has a lot of great opportunities of fishing. If you'd like to see some stuff about that, drop a comment below. But we live in a really unique and cool area where you can really do anything as far as angling goes. And while I'm on the topic of Greers Ferry Lake, I would like to point out, if you're into trout fishing or want to get into trout fishing, the dam under Greers Ferry Lake is phenomenal trout fishing. We actually held the world record brown trout up until a few years ago, out of the Little Red River. And yeah, the Little Red River is super fun. If you haven't been on there, you need to try it out. But Greers Ferry Lake is highly, could not recommend it more. Anyone that comes here in the shop and they talk about getting into fishing, I always point them to Greers Ferry Lake just because there is tons of fishing opportunity. And I will tell you, be careful. It's a party boat lake in the summer, so um, definitely would not recommend going across the middle of the lake in the summer because there are wake boats and just everything. But Greers Ferry, like I said, has everything to offer: marinas, bluffs, chunk rock, bushes, flipping timber, um, tons of docks out there, channel swings, flat banks. I mean, you name it, anything that you hear about when you're watching YouTube videos of fishing, Greers Ferry has that and gives you a chance to sharpen your angling abilities. So yeah, this isn't going to be a terribly long video, but I know that there's a few or a lot of beginners that don't know where to start and they don't know where to even go. And I just figured I'd come on here and just tell you guys my favorite place to kayak and my favorite place to fish. And probably some guys that are probably not too fond of me giving out spots, but it's a very well known lake around here. But I just feel like the fishing is really underrated. Greers Ferry gets a bad rap. People call it the Dead Sea, but I promise you, there are tons of fish in there. I got a buddy that dives, and he says like there's an unreal amount of fish down there, and like he said, he thinks every cast of fish is looking at your lure, and I don't doubt it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you've made it to the end of the video, why not subscribe? And if you have any questions about fishing or kayaks, and especially fishing in Arkansas, I can answer those questions to the best of my abilities. If you have locations that you think are good for beginners, drop them in the comments below. I love to hear what you guys have to say. But without further ado, y'all have a wonderful day and tight lines.